Is this OBD2 scanner by ThinkDiag any good? And does it compete with the $800 scanners that they say they can beat? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. You guys know that I do a fair amount of work with cars and vehicles, and I'm always looking for a really good OBD2 scanner. And up until recently, I've been using this MaxiDas DS808 scanner. I paid about $1,200 for this thing, and I bought it specifically because I owned a Mercedes. And everyone who watches Scotty Kilmer knows if you drive a Mercedes, you better have some really good diagnostic tools or be a millionaire. And I'm not a millionaire, so I bought a really good diagnostic tool. This has been my go-to diagnostic tool for all the vehicles that I own and that my kids and friends and family own every time I'm trying to scan a vehicle. Some of the reasons for that is this one actually performs dealer level diagnostics that many of the more cheaper scanners just don't do. So when the guys at ThinkDiag reached out to me and said that this little Bluetooth OBD2 scanner would do everything that a $900 scanner would do, I was really intrigued. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. Now, a quick look through the ThinkDiag website will show you that this thing is about $133, but more importantly, it talks about what features this thing has. And this says specifically bidirectional test and ECU programming. I'm very curious about that. So my $900 scanner was one of the cheapest ones I could get that did bidirectional tests. What is a bidirectional test? In most cases, a scanner will simply read codes and it'll tell you what those codes are. Bidirectional test lets you actually initiate something. You can tell the car to do something and it will do it. In my case, I've used it to adjust the timing on my Nissan. I've used it to adjust the airbags on the air ride suspension on my Mercedes that required a level sensor calibration. Will this do that? Well, unfortunately, I don't have the Mercedes anymore to try that, but we can do some simulated tests on this, my 2009 Chevy Avalanche. It does go on to talk about ECU coding, side mirror folding, engine start and stop, OBD2 scanner with key programming. That's interesting. So I have a different programmer that I bought for another $1,000 that lets me program smart keys on cars. So maybe this thing will let me program smart keys as well. So the next thing we got to do is open it up and see what's inside the box. So let's see what's inside this thing. First of all, it is fully sealed. And then this guy is just going to slide right out. I'm not expecting a whole lot in this thing because most of it is done on the app. So there are some instructions here. It does have a serial number and the activation code. It's got some color instructions that show exactly how to connect to this thing. I don't think we're gonna read these because I probably don't need it. I think we're just gonna download the app and then we'll slide this guy out and that exposes our device. Now I gotta say, this is quite heavy. It's got a fair amount of heft to it. It's got some instructions here, model number. It feels like a very legit device. Now this looks like it should be like a release button, but it's not. So there's not a lot to this. Most of the magic of this thing is gonna happen on the phone. So I'm just gonna go down here and plug it in. You guys can see that green thing down there. So the next thing we gotta do is go to the Play Store and we gotta see ThinkDiag. We'll just see if it pops up right away. It's the second one, ThinkDiag Tech. We're gonna just download the app real quick. We're gonna install it, and then we'll see how good this thing is just with a quick run through of this software, see what kind of features it has on there. I do have one light on my dash. It's my tire pressure monitoring system, and that's all. Now, the first thing I gotta say, looking at the app, is it's very similar to the OBD2 scanner that we actually reviewed before on this channel, which had its own screen and everything on it. So this is just an extension of that. The first thing it's asking us to do is to create an account, which is no big deal. Now I've been sent a verification code to my account, so we just got to check that, and I got 54 seconds to find it and enter it. We've entered the verification code. Now we've created our account. It is time to register the product. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm going to all systems diagnostics, and it's saying, well, you need to activate your reader. So this is where the serial number that was on the instructions comes in. You must save that. And then it's saying, congratulations. I'm going to say it's installed already. And here we go. So now we've got functions. I'm just doing VIN decoding first. So it's looking for it. It says, oh, we found it, and it wants to pair. Okay, go ahead and pair. And here we go. Now it's downloading diagnostic software. So this is doing an update just to make sure that all the modules are here. Now this is very, very typical of pretty much any scanner, including that $1,000 one that I showed you. It has modules for every vehicle. Each of those modules have updates all the time. And it's very, very common to have to upgrade those modules all the time. Now it's having fun showing a little graphic while it decodes my VIN. Now it's decided I'm driving a GM, which I already told you guys. I'm driving a Chevy Avalanche, which is a GM. So it is now downloading the diagnostic software for my GM. If you have an Acura, it'll download the one for your Acura. You can go in and tell the software, just download all of them. But in the sake of space and saving space, it's just downloading exactly what I need for this vehicle at this time. Now it doesn't know everything. It's saying, well, what speed is your transmission? I have a 6-speed transmission, and I have automatic HVAC. So I have climate control is what it's asking. So I'll tell it those two things. That's typical. Again, on my other $1,000 one, it asks me the exact same questions whenever I connect to my vehicle. So for whatever reason, the VIN doesn't tell it that information. So you still have to kind of fill it in on the details that it's missing. Now, I'm always asked these questions with RPO or without. I don't know what the answer is, and I've never seen what the difference is anyway. Now let's do a health report for fun and see what it says. So now it's got this really fun car graphic that's showing it. Now you remember I said I don't have any codes on the dash. I can show you right there. You can see there are no codes on the dash, but this is finding codes already. So as it scans through, it's finding all kinds of stuff. Transfer case module, driver door switch, fault code, HVAC, fault code, all these things. I thought my car was fine. I thought the only thing I had was a TPMS sensor, and that was because the tires that are linked to that are sitting at the back of my garage because it's winter and I don't have TPMS sensors in the tires that I have on my car. According to this, already look at all these codes that I've got that I didn't even know that we had. So let's let it finish. This is 96%, and we'll just see what codes these are. There we go. Look at this. 10 codes. Abnormal. 10 abnormal codes. I thought my car was fine, but I've got 10 abnormal codes and I've got 12 normal readings. Half of my readings are bad. This can't be. This is the type of thing that you expect from a German car, not a North American car. Let's look into this a little bit further. Engine control module, DTC1. So I want to know, read fault code. And I'm going to display what that code is. Description, engine oil pressure sensor performance. Last test, not run this ignition, not run since, clear, pass, fail. Now, my oil pressure sensor seems to be working just fine. But those of you that have watched our other videos, you know, I said that I actually was getting a low oil pressure reading in this truck on a recent trip that we did. This might have falsely decided that that was a bad switch when really I actually had no oil in the truck. So I'm going to clear this DTC. Yes, I want to clear that. Good. Now I don't have a code anymore for there. So let's go back. Transfer case control module. Read fault code, DTC display. Now, I gotta say, as far as functionality, this is very, very similar to what I see on my $1,000 programmer. You have to go in and say, show me this code, and then you gotta back out and then say, okay, now show me this code. It's very typical. Front axle switch circuit signal invalid. Now, I do know when I switch into auto four-wheel drive, sometimes I get a service four-wheel drive system error. That's probably what this is tied to. I'm not going to clear this one because I want to know what that is so I can fix the car. So we'll leave that alone. Driver door switch. This is interesting. What the heck is a driver door switch? My driver door switches all work just fine. Compartment lamp control circuit short to battery. Mirror vertical position sensor circuit. Last test passed since cleared passed. So some of these codes probably are just from something that happened a long time ago. Maybe it got fixed. Let's just have a look and see if there's anything else interesting that I want to see, because I do want to get onto, park assist module. Yeah, I have a park assist error. When I start the truck up, it says park assist not working. I don't know which one is faulty. Let's see if it tells me which one is bad. Park aid rear sensor 1, short circuit to battery. Park aid rear sensor 3, short to ground or open. Park aid rear sensor 4, short to ground or open. So I think I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Park sensors on the back, and 3 of them are bad. So if I want to fix this, I would actually need to buy 3 parking sensors and replace those. They're not that expensive, and I've been meaning to replace those anyway. So maybe I now know I need 3. I don't just need 1, I need to buy 3. So I'll buy 3, and then I will swap those out. In a different video, obviously. I'm not going to do that today. Electronic suspension control. Why not? Let's read that while I'm here. You guys did not want to see all the codes that I have on my truck. Level ground exhaust valve circuit short to ground or open. Level control air pressure sensor circuit malfunction. I know that my air ride doesn't work and it gives me an error, and I'm actually going to bypass the air ride anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's test. So one of the things, I crawled around under the truck because I wanted to figure out what was wrong with my air ride suspension. And I quickly got discouraged because I just didn't want to be climbing around in there. It was all dirty and everything. So now I have a compressor test that I can push and see if the compressor works. I'm gonna unroll the window. I'm gonna push the compressor test button. Commanded state on. Exhaust valve malfunction. So the exhaust valve is causing it to not work. I won't be able to activate anything else because the air compressor is not working. So obviously those exhaust valve issues are causing all kinds of issues with my air ride. So if I wanted to fix it, I would have to either service the compressor or the exhaust valve or replace the whole thing, which is like a $400 part. And that's why I'm not actually replacing the air ride. I'm just gonna put manual airbags in at the end session. Let's find something else, because I want to see the two-way communication on this thing. So I'm going to go to system selection. Here's all the different things that I have options for. Assist step controller, digital radio receiver, driver door switch, HVAC, memory seat module, park assist, passenger presence, radio, rear heated seat module, rollover detection. Lots and lots of different things that we can pull up here. I'm going to go to the engine control module because that's where some interesting stuff would be. And I want to go to special functions. So I have idle, learn, reset. Now I don't actually want to learn it. My idle seems okay, but I can say go ahead and relearn your idle. Oil life reset. Now I don't want to reset it, but this should pull up. There it is. Engine oil life 26%. Please confirm the value of the input 0%. No. So I can tell it it's actually 23%. I'm going to say okay. Okay. There you go. I've changed my engine oil from 23 to 22%. I can change it to whatever I want. Normally you go from 0 back to 100 and you can reset it with the buttons on the dash. But if you know that your oil life's not doing so good, you could always change it to be lower or whatever. Crankshaft position relearn, that's a good function to have. Let's look at HVAC control module. A lot of problems with the auto climate control on these things, and this will let you do all kinds of tests. So if you're not getting hot air, if you're not getting cold air, if you're not getting the blend door activation, you can go to all of these. I can go to blower motor and I can say, turn on. There, you heard the blower motor, it's at full speed now. I can go off and now I've got no blower motor. And then when I back out, it goes back to whatever it was actually being commanded to do. I can do mode position and I can go defrost and it's gonna move it all up onto the top. I can go heat and it should move it all down to my feet. and then I can back out and it goes back. So this allows me to do everything. I can recalibrate the actuator. This is more, way more than an OBD2 scanner. So when you're saying, well, gee, this is 130 bucks and the other one is 30 bucks or even 10 bucks, this is so much more than that. This is a full diagnostic tool in a bag. You've got regular OBD2 functions. If you want to just scan regular basic OBD2, that then acts like one of those $30 devices that you're used to seeing. There's no battery in here either. It takes the charge right off of the car to power up, and then your cell phone's probably charged anyway, so you have full access to all this. So the question we asked in the beginning of the video, is it as good as my $900 scanner? Yes, it totally seems like it. And you probably will be saying at this point in the video, well, geez, $133 versus $1,000 seems like a no-brainer. There is one thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to show you guys that. In here, to access the all system diagnostics, you need to have the license that unlocks all of these features. Now for this test, I have all of these features enabled. But here's the thing. For the first year, you get 1 year of use for your first year. The $133 covers 1 year of use. So that gives you the hardware and access to the full software. After that, you have to renew the license every single year. So in this case, right now at the time of this video, manufacturer software is $39.95 per manufacturer. In this case, I'm using a Chevy, so I would pay $40 to continue to have all of the features that you saw on this Chevy. If I want to have the reset abilities, I would pay $49.95 per year for that. So that would be, I think, the two-way communication. If I want to be able to access all car software with all reset features and all updates for 1 year, it is $70 for 1 year for all cars. Now for me, I have Chevys in my fleet. I have Fords in my fleet. I have Nissans in my fleet. I have Subarus in my fleet. I have 4 different manufacturers. I would have to buy the full all software for $70 every single year if I wanted to service all of the vehicles. That doesn't even include my friends, my family, anybody else that you might want to do. So if you know you need more than one vehicle, obviously the all software is what you're going to do. But at $70 a year, that can add up. And that's where something like this starts to shine. You see, I bought this 6 years ago for $1,000. I've been able to use this on all of my vehicles whenever I want, for all 6 of those years for that initial $900 investment. Again, small asterisk here. If I want software updates, I have to pay for them. So I'm running the software from 3 years ago and I have not performed the software updates for the vehicles because I don't want to pay for them. But I can buy this once and I can use it. I don't need to have a license active to be able to use this and to be able to use all of the functions of this. Whereas this guy, although it's so simple, if I wanted to use this for the same 6 years, I would pay $70 every year for the last 6 years, and I would be at about $400 plus the $133 that I spent already. I'm gonna be at $500-600 in the same amount of time. I still am cheaper than what I paid for my $1,000 scanner, but at some point, my $1,000 scanner will be cheaper than this guy with the same functionality. And that's kind of the model that everyone's looking for. Everybody wants to sell you a small piece of hardware and then get you locked in on an annual service fee. This is no different. So it depends how much are you gonna use these features, how much will they cost? $70 a year is a small price to pay for avoiding the high mechanics fees to fix your vehicle for things that you don't need fixed. So it's very easy to explain away that cost, but I do want you guys to be aware that there is a cost. If this interests you, I will put links in the description for this guy and some of the other options that I've used personally or that these Think Car guys are offering. If there is a promo code available, I will post that in the description as well. I hope that helps out. If you have questions, let me know. I'd love to answer those for you. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.